Ian Duncan and Amos Lutz were fastest through stage 3, but lost by seconds on the remaining 2, but had done enough to claim second. With the stages all under 12 kilometers, they called for total commitment. And Alistair Cavan and Gavin Lawrence were marginally slower than the others, slipping into third, 18 seconds behind the rally leader. The hybrid of Peter Horsey and Jeff Mays were in fourth. The early technical stages did not suit the car, and they hoped to recover the 30 seconds they dropped on the faster opening stages ahead. Their teammates Alex Horsey and Nick Darms in the Evo 10 were the first casualty of the event, forced out on stage 3 with a broken gearbox. It's never an advantage to be first, especially with the rally being run on open public roads. And Baldev Chaga and Raju Semi were forced to back off on more than one occasion. In favor of being cautious, they were off the front-end pace and dropped back to fifth.
So this is really not a competitive rally for you?
Not for me, definitely not. We're trying to push where we can, but it's still not there. You come to a brow, your foot goes off the accelerator straight away. You come around a blind corner, you're already braking too early, just in case there's something.
Azhar Anwar and Julius Gigi were running fourth on the road, with lines of those ahead to follow. Despite pushing the Evo 8 hard, it was just not as quick as the others, and they were running 1 minute behind in sixth. After 60 kilometers of competitive motoring, the leaderboard was beginning to take shape, with Carl Tundo out in front, 12 seconds ahead of Ian Duncan. But with the time so close, strategies would now become important. After a break of 20 minutes in service, the crews faced the next loop of 5 back-to-back stages, which ran into the foothills of the Aberdares, bypassing the Treetops Lodge. By now, Carl Tundo and Tim Jessup were well into their stride, taking another 3 stage wins, extending their lead to nearly 1.5 minutes.
We're definitely not backing off. All our easies are now taken max. Yeah, it's a good start to the season, definitely. I've just got to get it to the end. Yeah.
Alistair Kavanagh and Gavin Lawrence were level pegging with Tundo, setting the second fastest time on each stage. Then on stage 9 they punctured, losing 3 minutes, and they dropped to fourth.
Well, I was in front of Ian until this last. So I don't know quite where we were behind Carl, but when you're talking 5-6 seconds difference every stage to suddenly losing 2.5, 3 minutes, I think that's game over. But we might be able to get fourth or something. So.
Ian Duncan and Amos Lutz were also on the pace, only losing by seconds on each section. They also punctured on stage 9, but decided to drive on it. Watch the front left. It cost them 30 seconds, and they hung on to second.
No, we're not quicker than Alistair and Flash, that's for sure.
But you're not taking them on either?
No. But then Alistair had a puncture, so we're in front of him now, so his grey hairs are good for something.
Peter Horsey and Jeff Mays were now on the attack, but this would be their undoing. They took a jump too quickly, landing on the nose, damaging the radiator, and they were out. With Kavanagh dropping back and Horsey sidelined, Baldev Chaga and Raju Semi moved up 2 places to third. They were still hemorrhaging time, only being cautious, but found the going slippery, being the first to sweep the loose gravel off the road.
We're actually sweeping the road. As it is, the gravel is so loose here. We're really struggling for grip. We've tried different suspension settings, dropped the tire pressures, but we're actually just sweeping the top layer of gravel off for the rest.
Azhar Anwar and Julius Gigi were in fifth, and their only hope of improving on this was if those ahead faltered.
It's getting harder and harder to keep the car together and the pace goes up every rally. So all my competitors are really tweaking up their cars, and I keep thinking I'm going faster, but it doesn't seem to be.
Hardip Resi and Ravi Soni were off their normal pace early on as they settled back in after rolling towards the end of last year. It was only on the second loop they stepped up the pressure, winning stage 8 and climbed the leaderboard from 11th to 6th. Newcomers Jassi Chate and Gurdeep Panesar are still coming to grips with the well-proven Evo 9, not only learning the car but also the sport. This was their third outing, and running in the top 10 in 7th was impressive. They would have been even higher had they not lost 4 minutes with a faulty fuel pump.
We had a little bit problem on the electrical on the fuel pump. Just a plug that had come out, but I sorted out, nothing big, and after that going smooth.
Missing from the leaderboard were Raji Barij and Rajay Semi in a recently acquired Evo 9. When they were going, they set times amongst the leaders, but it was a defensive drive, having had some major wrong slots and a puncture that took 6 minutes to change.
The first 2 sections this morning, obviously Rajay and I are a new team, new car, new everything, and it's been about 7 months since I sat in a rally car. And we just kept wrong slotting. One turning after the other, we kept going the wrong way. We ended up on the tarmac in one section, thinking, where the hell are we? It's just...
Anka Rai and Raju Chaga were running in 8th place. It was surprising considering the pace at which they passed our cameras, but it was just an indication of how quick the rally was. Not having 5th gear didn't help.
It was actually a good run so far, but I've lost 5th gear now. So the long stretches can't really push it. So stuck in 4th. And I'm just sitting on 6,000 revs and top speed is really slow now.
Their teammates Tajveer Rai and George Mwangi were right behind them on the leaderboard, but any chance of them overtaking went by the board when the fuel pump inside the tank packed up and they were forced into retirement. Earlier, they had provided a perfect example of how important good recce notes are.